Hello, everyone. This is me, Robin. And today's we are going to talk about our favorite topic hard work, competition, success. These things are very common to all of us. In fact, our maximum part of our life is engaged with these three things. So we are either hard working or we have done hard working. So we are waiting for the result which we really want it to be in good success rate. And for that, we have to be get ready to be diving into this very competitive field. Guys, have you ever tried to find out the validity of all these three important as an experience of your life? Would that be fine if I use the word concept for these three things competition, hard work, and concept, or the success? Why I'm doing it? Because it is the right time to talk about these three things as a concept and to check the validity. Because once you get into these concepts, it is possible that you might find it all plausible, which means quite flimsy, which has no material substance. And still, we are chasing, we are running after it, and we are ending up with this all stressful life, anxious life. And for this, then we have money to spend on our medical treatment. None isn't a necessity for all of us to just check the validity of it. So, for that reason, I'm bringing this video for you. So, before we go further in the video, let me begin with the very basic part of it. This is what I'm trying to form a baseline on which you will understand how we could understand these as a concept. Starting with the first competition. I'm not talking about competition in the term which we understand more often. In other words, I can say there are several possible ideas and opinions can be formed about competition as to what competition stands for, what exactly it means. I'm rather interested into talking about its technical definition. And its technical or literal definition, which is basically perceived, is that we get into the competition, or competition is a way where a person ensures a good position for himself. Now, what is that good position? Now, again, there might be a different interpretations of good position, but I'm talking about on the perception of majority people. We all know why do we want to acquire this good position? Probably to dominate other. In this other, we also can include nature specifically. Yes, if you can be conscious about what nature gives us, these resources. So, are you able to draw this connection between the position and the extraction of resources from these nature? And this is the all purpose for acquiring this position. And for this, we don't need to read books. We really don't need to go into the deep psychological understanding of it. We all need to just see around the operation of those people who have gained certain positions in their life. I'm talking about those majority. And you will then find these people are much of extractivist, which means they believe in extracting and gleaning resources from the environment because they have the position. And how did they acquire that position? First, they enrolled themselves into the competition, they ensured position for them, and thereafter, they held authority on that resources, which means they have the power to regulate these resources. These are the people who can really decide to whom these resources to be shared with and to whom these resources to be exempted from. or not to be delivered. So that's what all a reason for all of us to acquire position. Now, next comes the very idea of resources. Since we have talked about resources, then how we can leave the very concept of source of resources. Because at the end of the day, we need something from which we could extract. So, what we are going to extract is nothing but the planet itself. Yes, I'm talking about our Earth planet because it is a source of resources. So, all we need for our survivability and for our all passions, for all our need and greed, it is there in this earth. Therefore, we call it a mother, right? So, it is there for us. But do we have this very awareness that this earth, which we call the source of resources, is also finite? And for this, again, you don't need to read book. You just go through a certain kind of internet, exploration, and you would just try to see, or you can either use telescope just to see the universe. Here, there you will find that there are several such planets which are there far away, almost by thousands and lakhs of years. So it means that we also are finite. We are one of among billions of planet, which is basically revolving at its axis. So one thing is sure here, what? That it is planet and it is finite, not infinite. Now try to draw this very connection between the part which I begin this video with, that the competition and the hard work. Now, if you ask me how I am able to conclude it, just let me tell you how did I do that. So when someone tells me do hard work or participate in this kind of competition, then the first question which I will probably hurl is that is it possible for all people, those who are really working hard, can have equal rate of success? Probably not. So there are several factors which really go along with. It is not just your hard work which gives you or helps you achieve your positions, your objective. There are several such factors, and among them, hard work is just a one factor. But hard work is for sure one factor, which is the only factor which causes us stressful. So people who say do hard work and thereafter you will get success, you have to counter them. It is not just hard work. It is also the finiteness of the source of the earth which ensures our success rate. For example, there was a report being extended by Rome Club in around 1972. Interestingly, it dealt with the very nuances of the technological advancement, and it was talking about what if this technological advancement continues to be extended in this way, and simultaneously the populations and the society also grows in number, would then be possible for this so-called technology to meet up with the people's demand? Then it actually laid down a certain principle or certain rules. People really don't know about it. People must talk about it. So they basically laid down four important you know points, and they highlight it in a way that phase one development, this phase one development basically refers to that state of society where there was no as such expansion of technology, and people were only relied on those conventional form of resources, and thereafter they live their life meeting up with their all those needs. The consequences and the result of the phase one development was that scarcity in food, in all material resources, which was really important. for people to survive. Now comes the second phase of development where technology came into existence. Yes, I'm talking about industrial revolution. This was the first, phase where industrial revolution came into existence, which means we had the expansion of technology in all spheres of life. And what basically led multifold of resources production, which means it doubled the production of resources, which helped meeting up with the needs of the people. So the consequences or the result of the phase second development was that people didn't face any scarcity of food or any basic things, which was really important to meet up with the survival, things, right? But at the same time, the same technology also led a great and a massive amount of pollution. So phase second, though initiated with this technological advancement, but ended up being what? The polluted environment. And then again, it was seen as a caution whether we should extend this particular technology era and should it be promoted? And if yes, then why? And to answer this question, there came the third phase of development. What was that third phase? Where we were talking about possibly the sustainable development. Yes, comprehensive technology. That was the time when scientists and the field workers tried to be relied on those sustainable technological equipments, which means they were trying to get help from those technologies which were effective and were very much efficient, which means these technology were basically good in extracting resources and double it or multifold it, but at not the bigger expense of the environment, which means they were causing pollution, but not to that point which was very degrading as it was experienced in the previous phase, which was the second phase of development. Then the consequences of this phase of development, which is the third number, is that it became very difficult for the common, you know, developing countries, specifically the global south. We all know that global north differs from global south. Global north simply means the richest countries of the planet, which basically counts Western countries. And on the other hand, the global south is basically developing countries. So it was really difficult for global south to acquire this services, to acquire this expensive technologies, right? And thereafter, it was found that the Western countries, the global north, became pollution free with the help of these technologies, and they were able to transport and convert or divert this pollution to developing countries, right? And what happened eventually that the developing countries started facing pollution at a very higher rate. Do you remember that Paris Climate Treaty? If you go and check what was the objective of it, I tell you, the objective of Paris Climate Treaty was nothing but as a commitment to all those global north to just pay the money to those developing countries to whom these developed countries caused a lot of pollution. In fact, it is still said that USA alone contributes 30 to 35% to the global pollution. So it is its onus, specifically the USA's responsibility to help arranging all these expensive technology for the developing countries to subside this effect of pollution. So it was not possible. And today we can see that are we really able to meet up with this kind of requirement? And are we able to subside the effect of pollution? Probably not. And this is that time where we are not able to even consume more of the resources. We are not able to even extract more from the resources, but still we are suffering from this extensive amount of pollution, which is being caused by the developed countries. Now comes the fourth phase of development, which has yet to be perceived, which means people are not talking about it. And the countries whom to talk about it is the global south, yes, including India, because that talks about stable development. Stable development basically talks about a process where it doesn't focus on the expansion of technology. It doesn't brings about the notion of the countries to be famous, to be popular and superior only on the basis of technology, but on the basis of self-continence. Yes, it is much of a spiritual kind of phase of development where one has to understand the finiteness of the planet, yes, of this earth planet, considering this, that even when we have lot of technology, even we advance technology multifold, the time would possibly come where there would be nothing for extraction, means the earth won't have much to give us. And that is what is the core point which I wanted to convey. So even when we hard work, or even when we try to enroll in the competition, or try to build up new technology, or making our country more progressive in the name of technology, it is not going to be sustainable forever. And if you really have a doubt on this, then you can just go out of your home and check the level of advancement in technology we have acquired by this time now, and also compare it with the pollution that it has really extended and caused to the people, and how many new diseases were basically brought about from these kinds of pollutions related issues. So are we really developing? So therefore it is suggested we don't need to be much into hard working process. We don't need to be in a competition, because this is just a hollow competition. It's one which is very plausible. It has no essence. And we know this because we are endowed with a kind of philosophy called Vedanta, which has really given us a certain kind of timeless wisdom, which we still need to practice. We have forgotten about its essence. And I think the time has come to get delved into this and to teach the world about this new technology, and the technology of the spiritual technology, which is based on self continence, self sacrifice, and limit your uses, limit your consumptions, rather than working on extending your technological prowess. And that is what I wanted to say and share with you. This, if you like this video, please share and subscribe the channel. We keep bringing this informative videos to you. And if you really want to share anything from your side about our videos, our overall uh, ideas that we bring about, please, we will be really happy to accept everyone's. Till then, take care. Bye bye.